Good morning, everyone. Today is Thursday, March 23rd, and it is 8:37 a.m. Getting started a little bit late here, but that's okay. We've been getting our homework done fairly quickly in the mornings, leaving us some time closer to the open where I'm going to having to pause the video. So let's just get these moving. I'm going to move my lines to represent yesterday's value area high, value area low, VPOC, overnight high, and overnight low, and overnight VPOC. So we need to come up here and find this. All right. Overnight low. So we have yesterday's value area low, yesterday's value area high, overnight low. It seems to me that the VPOC, right? This is just easier to do on my other chart, so I'm just going to move it down here. Okay, so that's now in place. And overnight VPOC from yesterday was here. Let's bring that up here. All right. Let's take a look at what kind of happened overnight in trading. So we had our close from the pit session right here. And we immediately traded up, getting to our all. Oh, sorry guys, I'm gonna have to take this. I'm just gonna pause you guys. Okay, sorry about that. So we opened, traded up, got to the high of the overnight session, and then ultimately came all the way back down. Now putting in a new low. We've now bounced away from it, but we were just very recently at the low of the overnight session. Ultimately, we are net long inventory. We've corrected price, but wouldn't be all that surprised to see a move back up. We can see how VPOC is way up here from the overnight session. We've yet to really put in a bunch of volume down here. We only recently got down to this price, but we can see that change fairly quickly. So let's go take a look at the hourly chart, our homework chart, and we can see. Oh, I'm guessing this happened with the inventory report. We could see we pushed all the way down to 47 after the report, but then made our way right back up into the 48s. So it's a nice little turnaround there. All right, let's mark off our low of day yesterday. Pretty much sitting at high of day, at yesterday's high of day. Let's get rid of any levels that are no longer necessary. And we can see a couple here that we breached a bunch of times. So we're going to get rid of both of these. Don't need those. We have this here, which was a low from previous day. We see we pushed up against it. Sorry, we pushed up through it, and then we tested it from above, and it kind of held. So I'm actually going to leave that on for now. Let's take a look at today's news. Bring this over. Okay. Yeah, I'm guessing something came out that we saw that move, that shift from the overnight high down to the overnight low. All right. Anyhow, we have 8:30. We had an employment come out. Looks like Fed Chair Yellen is yapping as we speak. Almost, he's about to start yapping. Not much else. We have the natural gas today, and we have new home sales actually. So might be a little bit slow this morning. Might be a little bit choppy trading this morning. So we'll have to bear that in mind. But other than that, we're we're open for the day. So let's go back here. We could, if we wanted to, start drawing a micro composite here. We really started balancing from here. So as we've traded, we've traded down. If we rotate back up, excuse me, if we rotate back up towards these three swings, or even, down into this area, we'll be able to start drawing in a micro composite. I just don't know yet if we're going to start it from back here, or if we're going to start it from down here. But this is starting to look like an area that we might want to try to rotate back in and out of, that 50 75 at the high end, down to where we touched yesterday, 47. So, maybe a $3.75 range, maybe a little less. It might, we might top off right here in that 49.70 area. But this would make for fairly tight trading, but that would be okay with us. That would be okay if we bounced around in here. So we're not going to draw a micro composite in just yet. Certainly we could, if we want to, draw one over these 3 days. That's a really, really tight, balanced area. But we have enough levels on the chart in that price point that I really don't think that's necessary. Okay. So let's take a look at where we're currently trading. 47.93. That gives us plenty of space here to work with. Okay. 47.93 puts us. Oh, did we just form a new low overnight? We did. Okay, so our homework now, the hypotheses that we're going to draw out, may change a little based on where we ultimately push to in the overnight trade. Remember, it's overnight technically until the 9 o'clock, what used to be pit session. So we are trading right at overnight low, and let's see if we can draw in a couple of hypotheses. Let's take a look at what we see here. So again, we saw the push up overnight has really held towards the bottom here. We're going to make our first hypothesis that, so currently we will be trading inside yesterday's range, right outside yesterday's value, but we're going to make our first hypothesis that we're going to go down below overnight low, maybe give it a retest, come into yesterday's value, and ultimately test yesterday's VPOC. I believe we would break through this, chop around in this form of VPOC, and ultimately come down to test yesterday's value area low, at which point we would have to see, is this going to hold and then get back up towards overnight low? We're going to call that hypothesis 1. Okay, the other option down here, and this is where I say, I could draw a bunch of hypotheses, but basically, we watch every level to see what's going to happen when we get there. You could see this low volume node in the composite creating this distribution right in between these two low volume nodes. So if we get through yesterday's value area low, and we push down below this low volume node and we get resistance here, if we get beneath it and we get resistance, now we would expect a push down to the bottom end of that distribution, and ultimately we do got room to drop down here, so we definitely want to pay attention to that. Okay, so that's hypothesis 1. Let me get rid of that. That's hypothesis 1. Hypothesis 2. is going to be that we open, push down, chop a little, don't really get much of a move, maybe to yesterday's VPOC. VPOC holds, and then we get up above yesterday's value, above overnight low, and now make a move up towards yesterday's high and overnight VPOC. That's going to be expectation number 2. We actually could see with that we could get to overnight VPOC of yesterday's high, and if we break, we can get as high as overnight high in that same move there. So that would also work as expectation number 2. Keep in mind here once again, I can continue drawing here, and I can say that somewhere in this area we would ultimately bump into resistance. Right, so let me leave this as number 2, and then I'm going to start drawing again. Okay, so now this can easily turn into resistance and start making its way back down, where we stay inside yesterday's range, and ultimately see if at that point we see where the value has formed today. But easily you can see a range between the upper end of what we're calling hypothesis 2, could even be as far as the overnight high, and on the bottom end, yesterday's VPOC. Very, very easily, we could get a range here, 48.30, 47.65. That might not be the entire range for the day, but this could very, very easily be a range that we trade in. So I guess maybe to show that, we'll call it hypothesis 3. And the important thing here is, again, it doesn't necessarily matter in what order this goes. So we open, we chop, we test yesterday's VPOC, we hold, we ultimately test yesterday's high, overnight VPOC, overnight high, we hold. So this type of trade is certainly possible. Even really the lower end of the extreme could even be value area low yesterday, or all the way down to yesterday's low. That one would be a little bit extreme, but certainly possible. Certainly possible. It's only 90 ticks away from where we are, at least where we were when we started doing this. So we need to let's see which end of the extreme, if any of them, we test. But we have a few decent areas to start watching for. All right, so that's going to be it for the homework today. Let's get this out of the way. Give me 1 second. There's going to be some quick multitasking on my part here. 9 minutes, still plenty of time. Okay, let's make sure that we have not lost our overnight VPOC location. All right, so that's good. We see it has not moved. And it doesn't look like it's going to move before the open. Volume would really have to kick up here in order for something down here to get enough contracts traded at a price for that to overtake VPOC. So that's going to be interesting. We're going to see if we ultimately treat that as a magnet and make our way back up there. We see yesterday's high right here. So yesterday's high and overnight VPOC have a confluence there. So we're going to see if those two together work as a magnet. Okay, so I'm going to pause the recording. Just a couple things to point out real quick before the trading starts again. Remember, I am going to be continuing to use an all-in scale-out method. When I get into the trade, I will be getting into 3 contracts anytime I open a position, and I will be scaling out of that position most of the time. Sometimes I will close out more than 1 contract at a proper target. Sometimes all 3. So I've talked about now for a while that there are couple things I want to fine tune in my trading, and this is one of them. I am going to be using order flow much more, but only in areas that I am interested in trading, not just all over the board. A lot of times you'll hear me talking about it, not because I'm using it as a trading barometer, but because I'm doing my best to try to have you guys understand what it is that we're looking at. So real quick before we get to the open, which we still have a couple minutes for, you can see as we move down in this last push, we have not created positive divergence down here at the bottom. Now we've certainly turned up, price has turned up, and the BBs have turned up with it. And it looks like if we were to come and test the overnight low at this point, we would have positive divergence, but we won't really know that till it happens, because remember, those BBs can move pretty drastically depending on how the candles themselves form. So, but right now it does look as if we would start to form positive divergence. So we're going to pay attention to that as we get closer to the open, because certainly we would be willing to. We certainly would be willing to start looking for a potential long if that sets up. We want to watch here. We're coming up to yesterday's value area high and overnight low. So again, we have confluence down here with a couple of levels that if we do see decent divergence, if we do see decent positive divergence and some effort to hold price here, we might want to take a long and try to get a nice tight stop on it. Again, we're seeing more liquidity. Remember, liquidity just means how many contracts we see trading, how many contracts we see available at every price. We're starting to see more and more showing over 100. Now, in this case, it's all on the bid side, but we are seeing these, a couple more, just a couple came in on the offer. We are seeing these starting to get higher and higher like we saw a few weeks ago before that large 200 some odd tick down day. So you see on the 610 and the 987 that we are showing positive divergence as we come to test the overnight low in yesterday's value area high. So we want to see, are we going to stay outside yesterday's value? Is this value area high going to hold us away, or are we going to ultimately break down into it, maybe have it turn into resistance and make a push towards yesterday's VPOC? About 15 seconds to the open. That might have been a nice long play right there. Okay, so here's push down right off the bat, testing overnight low. We do have that positive divergence. So I am actually going to take a long here with an incredibly tight stop, 5 ticks. This is a combination of the momentum of the open type of trade, which we know I have not gotten right too often, and the fact that we do have this positive divergence. I'm actually going to back that out. Okay. So we're gonna watch. We see we busted through. We do have our positive divergence. We still are. We're gonna want to look for a long here. Looks like I wasn't able to get my stop out of the way fast enough. Not that it would have mattered. I would have been stopped out here anyhow. Now, we're not going to look just to take a trade in no man's land, okay? So we would need to see something set up here. Order flow will certainly be of help, but we're kind of right in between some levels down here. So I would like to see this, for this to become a decent long trade, I'd like to see us kind of flatten out a little bit and maybe put a low in that we see defended a couple of times. We are also watching this from the opposite end, that we are now below value area high from yesterday. And if we see some selling step in here, we could also be watching this for a decent short opportunity. So let's keep an eye on that. So right there, sellers did step in there. But right back by the buyers. Not a surprise that this is an area that we're running into some immediate fighting yesterday's value area high, because now the question is, like I'm saying, are we going to ultimately get into yesterday's value and push down towards VPOC and yesterday's value area low? Or are we going to hold here and try to get outside of yesterday's value and push towards yesterday's high? So we're seeing sellers continue to step in here. At the same time, we're seeing buyers hold. So right off the bat, we have this fight here in order flow. Buyers just did it again. Buyers just stepped up here. Sellers continue to put pressure on, but buyers are not stepping out of the way. And there's some more from the sellers, and right back by the buyers. Let's see here. Let's see if the buyers can push it back. All right, so we're going to look for a bounce back right now. We're going to look for a bounce back up and an opportunity to go short here. Darn it. Big offer. See that? And they ate it up. They ate up that entire offer right there. Lots of buying on the way down. Another big offer. And those offers are coming in at the market, at the inside price. That's a lot of selling pressure there. Much more interested in a short right now than a long. Sellers pushing up. I am actually going to take my short here. Again, tight stop. I know this is different than a lot of the trading you'd seen me do, and there's a reason for it, and that's part of my. Actually, wait, I'm getting back in this short here. I know this is different than some of the other trading that you've seen me do, and there, like I said, there is a reasoning for it. I am looking to pay more attention to order flow. Again, all that areas that matter to me. So you'll notice my trades are happening at overnight. Oh, okay, big push here. Oh, we are back. We're getting back in this one. And you'll see every one of these are happening at areas that you know me to look at. Opening of the day, overnight high, yesterday's value area. I didn't start taking trades down here because we were kind of in no man's land. So there, I know this is different than what you saw, and that's completely fine. But there's things that I also am working on as I am trying to do my best to be as informative as possible. So what we have here right now, so because of those big spikes, we saw the BBs turned up. So I'm leaving one profit target in above the current low of day. My next profit target is above yesterday's VPOC. So if we push down, I do believe that we can push and test actually all the way down to yesterday's value area low, which will be where I end up putting my last profit target. That's not to say it's going to happen in this trade. I'm not trying to say that's the case, but that is kind of what we talked. That is what we talked about in the homework. If we could get into yesterday's value, so below this value area high, that's right. That's the key for me right now. Is I really need to see. I need to see the price get below value area high and start accepting down here, not run away like it did here at the current low a day. Don't like that I'm seeing buying happen right there. So right there again, we saw buyers come in with some size. Sellers immediately, there's some buying size again. Sellers right now are doing a decent job defending this, but we really need to see this turn into selling pressure. Those buyers continue to add on contracts, and they tend to be adding them on with some size. We saw that jump up to over 90 a few times here on the bid. So it's definitely showing more strength than weakness. So right now, what we're looking for is we're looking for sellers to hold this and basically for the trend down to continue. That's kind of what we see. Let's blow this up. We see a very, very clear and obvious downtrend. Right? I mean, that's the definition of a downtrend is what we're looking at. And basically, we're in the trade with the expectation and hope that it's going to continue this downtrend. But right now, buyers are not letting that happen. Buyers are absolutely stepping up here. See this? See how this has formed a higher low? That's not very exciting for me. Really was what we're looking for, obviously, is for this to continue to push down, break this low, and get back into the definition of the downtrend: lower highs, lower lows. But right now, it seems like every time we trade bid, the buyers are staying. So right there again, we hit bids, which is good, but you see the contracts just added back on. Here again, we went to go hit bid, then we took some off. There's some more off. There we go. Now we need that to stay. We need to see us continue to push down. Big buy order there. Continue to push down, trade the bids, have the offers push the price down. I was talking about yesterday, there's two reasons the price goes down. You run out of buyers or you get an increase of sellers. The best thing for us, of course, is the combination of the both. So that's what we're looking. We're looking to see these levels as we get to them. We want to see these numbers go down without us even trading them, and we want to see sellers come down with it. We want to see the offers push down with it with some decent size. So again, we're trading bid there. They added size, so that's not the. There you go. Size is disappearing right there. They added back on. We see the bid at 62. That's going right at 60. So again, they're adding on contracts, but they just lost a bunch of them. That was a nice size. Nice size coming in on the offer there. So this was the area that we fought just a little bit ago when we put in that higher low. So I like that. We've penetrated through it. Big bid, big offer, same time. Bids won. I don't think I've ever seen that. That was kind of cool. So again, we're looking for us to trade bid. See those? I want that 8 to disappear. They added on, and again we're close to 0. Let's see if we can't get that to no, not they added on again. So they're defending down there. The buyers are defending. BBs certainly have turned up drastically. So at this point, I have conflicting information. The BBs are telling me that we are most likely not going to break this current low of day. We have downtrend telling me we want to continue to go down. And right now, order flow is not telling me one way or the other. So I'm actually going to lighten my risk on this trade by closing out one of these. I'm going to move this one up. Let's close out. Take our 5-6 ticks, whatever it is. We'll close out one. I'm leaving my other one here at below low of day. I'm also moving my stop to break even +1 because at this point, this consolidation, if we are to break out of this consolidation, we've now established still a higher low. Even though we've made it lower than here, we're still quite a bit higher, and that would again start looking like we might be trying to push to the upside. So right now we've tightened up. I'm getting my conflicting information. There's really no reason for me to take any unnecessary risk. And actually, I'm going to adjust this if it lets me. I don't think it will. No, it won't. Okay. Let's see if we get another push down here. What happens? So we can continuously see buyers stepping in here. Let's see what time we have. Still 17.5 minutes. The equity is open. You can see the 610 and the 987. Ultimately, we did get a nice candle setup here. I probably should have been watching for that too. We got a nice candle setup with the positive divergence down here, but it kind of happened, like I said, in that no man's land. What you could have looked to take a trade on after this candle closed and we started pushing. You could have looked to take a trade on with a tight stop below it as the long because of the positive divergence on the BBs and the concept of, okay, we pushed below value area high. We're going to see if we're going to keep ourselves down here or are we going to make our way back up. So that could have been a trade to take there. Really, what I was looking for was when we started this consolidation, and for me, the idea was that we were going to make a push down. What I was really looking for was the push down, come back up to retest it, and then push through again. That didn't happen. We pushed up through it very, very aggressively. Okay, so we're stopped out at break even +1, no problem. BBs are showing that we should have some strength to the upside here. So we're going to see if we can't. We're basically going to look to the opposite end of this trade now. We're going to look to see if we can't get a pullback. You just want to be careful that you're not trading from the middle the entire time. Okay, this last short we had decent price point. We were up somewhere up in this area here. You want to be careful that you're not taking trades from the middle because it can bounce between this range and at no point get you anywhere near a decent profit target. So lower high, and we're going to watch to see now what happens when we get down towards this low end here, this low part of this last consolidation. Buyers continue to step in at the value area high from yesterday, the current VPOC, today's VPOC. Strong positive divergence. It certainly looks like if we were to make another push towards low of day, there would continue to be positive divergence down there. Not much happening now. So we're making a push again down here towards the bottom of this consolidation. They got us here a little bit. They stopped us out and then turned right back down. We want to watch to see if buyers step in here and hold this bottom again. I'm considering getting into a trade here again with a really, really tight stop. Kind of just fading these extremes here. Let's see what happens. Sellers pushing down, buyers continue to defend right where VPOC is right now. There, they just stepped in again. I'm actually going to take one here. Again, tighten up my stop. Actually, I'll leave it. This is what, 6 ticks, I believe. Yeah. idea being that we have our strong positive divergence. We're not even coming down to test the low. Where looks like right now VPOC value area high, middle of day, they've been holding. We do have higher lows starting to form. Now what we would want to see happen, our buyers step in and then make a push towards current high of day and start getting up away from yesterday's value area. And now we start looking at, let me go get this chart so I can show you. So remember, we talked about on the HOMO chart, we start looking at the far end to overnight high. Beneath that to yesterday's high and overnight VPOC. And we're front running them by quite a bit. Now, again, that's not to say that's going to happen. We're gonna pay attention to if we start pushing up. Right now, all the BBs are in our favor. They're telling us what we want to see. But we still need to see the buyers come in. We need to see us come test the current high a day. We need to see where, if anywhere, the sellers make it obvious that they're going to make this a very tough climb. Now, I believe that if we can get to high a day and above it, so this is our first stumbling block right here, this micro double top. Let's see if buyers can't put some pressure on there, and what did the sellers do to respond? So we didn't see sellers add on there. We just saw a ticker. There we go. Buyers are up. Let's see if we can't break through current overnight high. I believe that will give us a bit of a stop run, and that should swipe us out of our trade there. Let's see if we get that. So sellers stepping in right there. BBs are still very much in our favor. There go the buyers. There they come. We got to our price, but didn't get filled. Not cool. Hate it when that happens. Okay, sellers will step back in here. Big bid. Those always get killed. See that? And then big offer. Look at that. Nice. That is so backwards to my mentality. You know, like you see a lot of people selling, so more people buy. I don't quite understand it, but that does seem to be the way it goes. So be it. Let's get some buying in here. Come on now. BBs still look good. Sellers are definitely defending this new high of day, this previous swing. I honestly couldn't tell you why. I mean, yeah, yes, there's a previous swing there, but I really don't know why that one would be so accurately defended. That's what I get for not front running it by a tick or two. We definitely want to see our price stay above this 21 EMA, overnight high, value area high. We really want price to start accepting above yesterday's value area. So where we are now, we really want to see us staying up here. Of course, I'd like to see this push come even further. Big bid. That scares me. You know, I see the big bid there, and I'm afraid people are just going to start hitting it. You know, one big order will come through. Now I can't tell if that actually happened or they just disappeared. Okay, let's see if we can't get rid of these sellers here. Let's see if buyers can step in. So far, no. Trading offer. We just saw buyers step up. They got knocked right down. Again, sellers are really defending this area hard. Big bid right at the current market. We like seeing that, but even better than that is we like seeing people get scared of it, which does not happen here. Another big bid. Now, yeah, I'm about to say that's away from the current market. That didn't really mean anything to me. So we're definitely seeing a battle in this small range here, this 47.91 to 47.96, and we keep seeing big bids stepping up, and we keep seeing them get knocked down. BBs are still in our favor. Again, a big bid. Honestly, I don't know what the hell that means at this point. Yeah, they came and went. Let's see if we can't get this to go bid. No, not yet. There we go. Now let's keep trading. Let's keep pushing. Let's see if we can't break this high a day and just start drifting. Start drifting upwards. So far, every time we've come up here, sellers have definitely stepped in, defended this price point. Buyers have not been able to push up through it. We're seeing it happen right there again. Sellers are stepping in, holding it down. Buyers are definitely trying here. That was some pretty good, still pretty good defending up here by the sellers. BB still look okay. The only thing not going our way right now is the fact that the sellers are continuously getting in our way up there. Seller. We just saw the sellers come in with a little bit of pressure. Let's see if we can't build up some energy for a push up here. This is a very important area for us. This overnight high, value area high, VWAP's catching up, 21 EMA is very important for us. I really want to see us stay above this. Buyers came in and defended it aggressively, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to continue to push through where we keep bumping our head up against. Just the BBs are so much look so good for us. About 3 minutes to equities open. Oh, again, big sell. Now see, we've seen this type of action work in our favor. It disappeared. We see that the buyers are not willing so far to really pay up here. You know, as we start getting higher and higher, we're not seeing buyers step in, and the same thing is happening on the seller side. So far, we haven't seen the sellers aggressively get involved when we push down. So that's how we kind of stay in this range. As we come down here, buyers are stepping in. They're looking to add on to their contracts. As we move up, sellers are stepping in. They're looking to get out of contracts. But the BB still look really, really nice, very much in our favor. There's a nice offer that just came in there. That's not what I want to see. Here again, we need to see the buyers step in here, defend this area. That's not looking great. I can tell you this, I always say if I wasn't in a trade, what would I be doing? If I wasn't in a trade right now, I'd probably want to go long. So I'm happy with that. I would have been a lot happier actually if this trade did what I thought it was going to do, but did it a little bit quicker. It certainly has changed how we need to approach this. We really need to see now, A, if we make a push towards the current high day, and B, the BBs have now turned and started to flatten. Certainly, with the right type of move towards the higher day, they will go back and not have negative divergence. But certainly, this type of action, this type of price action, does lend itself to getting this negative divergence on the BBs. So couple things, one slight bit of just a little bit of bad luck when we had. Oh, wait a minute. Whoa. Are you fucking kidding me? You got to be kidding me. No, no. I'm not. Where did my team viewer go? Aha, there we go. Let's see. So little bit of bad luck on that. I accidentally entered another long here. I actually did not mean to do that. A little bit of bad luck here on this one. We came up to our first profit target, missed it by a tick. We actually got to the price point, but it didn't actually fill us up here. So a little bit of bad luck on that. But look what we're seeing. We definitely. Hey, wait a minute. So I'm frozen here. We have our positive divergence. We are coming down. So that kind of sucked by not getting that fill here. We're making our way down, going to. It looks like we're ultimately going to push towards that VPOC as we were saying. Just had equities open. S&P opened that right around its overnight low. Again, strong positive divergence down here on the BBs. Definitely seems more weighted to the downside right now than to the upside. But we are watching. We have this positive divergence down here. S&P just pushing down right off the open. Once again, starting to form consolidation here. Actually, looks like some sellers are starting to hold this down here. Let's see if that See what happens. There's the bids step up. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a very, very tight stop short here. Very tight. And, you know, with this, no problem. With what it is we're looking at, with what it is we're doing, we are looking at, you know, we're losing 2, 3, 4 ticks a trade on some of these trades. But ultimately, what we're watching for, and like yesterday, you know, I had I think one trade, ultimately the high end of it was like 70 some odd ticks, and for one of the contracts. So we are taking a short here as well. Why? We actually have a bunch of reasons here. We have VWAP, value area high from yesterday, overnight high. This is the area that we have been fighting and ultimately making move towards the extreme. So we've pushed down to the bottom. We've come back up towards middle of day, overnight high, value area high. We saw sellers defend this. Again, very, very tight stop. Okay, so I have this profit target down here, moved away from the 10 tick area, 10, 12 tick, whatever it was. I would. There's a very good chance that if we do push down and we don't see it set up the way we want, I would move this up and close my trade. But I just want to have it down here for now, just to see if we do push down, what type of price action we get in there. And at this point, we are seeing buyers again. Now we're seeing buyers start stepping up here. Need to see some selling pressure. That's not happening right there. We see the S&P made its initial push down and now has skyrocketed up. Big bid on crude right there. Yeah, so far that has not worked. You know, whoever's been trying to manipulate the market by throwing in big bids and offers, that certainly has not done the job. Buyers still stepping up here, holding this up. Really looking to see sellers defend this overnight high, value area high. Buyers continuing to put pressure to the top here. Now, take a look at the 610 and the 987. We need to start seeing here. It looks like we might be losing our negative divergence at the top here. See all the buying clusters happening in here. See how hard it was for it to get through this area. I'm not gonna lie to you, I still actually like the idea of a short here. Again, really, really tight stop. Ultimately, the goal with what it is you're seeing me mess around with, ultimately the idea is going to be proper trade entry, you know, getting our win-loss percentage where it needs to be. But let's get these out of the way. But you will be seeing, it's probably going to be at least a few weeks that I'm messing around with this. All right, so sorry if you see some stuff that was not exactly like what you had been watching me do originally. But to the concept of what we had been doing right from the very beginning, we didn't really have a good short up here because we didn't have good negative divergence. So we tested right up to this swing level, but never really got ourselves set up for a decent short opportunity, which is why you didn't see me go short or get out of the trade I was in. Should have been out at 10 ticks. I actually had my profit target at 12 ticks. Should have been out at the 10 ticks there, but so be it. Once we made our way down, you see we have positive divergence. Let me shrink this down a little bit. You see we have positive divergence as we go from low to low. This is if you're using. Let's go to the what you're used to seeing me do. Hang on one second, guys. Let's see. So once again, as we're pushing down towards the low of day, we are still putting in positive divergence here. We've seen that not hold, meaning, hang on, we need to watch this area very closely here because we're right at this support back here. So we need to see if this is going to hold and potentially start forming a head and shoulder, a quasi head and shoulders, or if we're going to make another push down and see if we can't come and get to this yesterday's VPOC. So down here, if you were looking to take a trade, yeah, this looks like it's going to. Sorry. So what I was saying was, if you were looking when we came back here and we had this positive divergence, you absolutely could have started building a long position if you were scaling in. You could have started building a long position here and ultimately scale all the way down towards VPOC using yesterday's VPOC as a stop. So it absolutely could have started doing that. Truth be told, I could have started taking a long. I could have taken my full long position here, 3 contract long position here for that same reasoning. The only reason I didn't was because that we did have so much distance between here and VPOC that my stop would have to have been more than I would have wanted it to be. Here we come again. I'd like to see this break. Yeah, there we go. See, I don't like seeing these large numbers when they came in on the offer. It did nothing for us. They're doing it again. Those tend to fail. I'm not sure. I honestly have no idea how the hell to respond to those. Ugh. It would mean so much more to me if it happened right here. Okay, that's pretty good. That was interesting, actually. That came down to the current market, to the current offer. That's, again, didn't really do anything. It seems it hurt more than it helped. And once again, buyers have stepped in. Sorry, that's my phone there. Buyers stepped in to defend down here. So to the famous question, what would I do if I wasn't in a trade? I'd have to say I'd probably be looking to go long. So I'm very conflicted right now. Very conflicted. I actually really like the positive divergence from a long perspective right now. I know I'm short, but I actually like the positive divergence down here on the BBs. What's keeping me in this short trade is that we are below this value area high. We're starting to trade. We've been trading below this value area high. From our homework, you heard me talk about that if we can stay below here, I think ultimately we will make a push down towards yesterday's VPOC and then ultimately yesterday's value area low. That's what got me in this trade. That's why I'm in this trade right now. However, hang on, let me get this out of the way here. Sorry. As we have pushed to make our way further down, as every time we've tried to come down, we have been bumping up against some buyers right down here in the 47.75, 47.76 area. And while that's been happening, we've been getting positive divergence, and we've been getting it since the very open here. So I have to say this looks. I would have really should have seen that earlier. We're dealing in an awful tight range right now. Sellers continue to defend this value area. Now where VWAP is, middle of day, overnight low, sellers continue to defend there. What I'd like to see to really get me a little more excited is I'd like to see the BBs turn down. The only way that's going to happen is if we start getting some reasonably large bearish candles forming. Ugh, stupid big offer. So here we saw a big trade come in there, big sell come in. As stupid as this sounds, I'd almost rather see that big bid show up. It seems like that. It seems like every time a big number shows up, we're heading in that direction. So, which is completely counterintuitive. Another big sell down there, but not breaking through. Let's see if we can't get these buyers to drop here from 78. We know we had some other ones down there at 75 and 76. There we go. These became low offer. There we go. Okay, another big sell down there. Now we're pushing. Now we're pushing. Okay. Just so you know, I was about to lose my freaking mind if I came and missed me by a tick again. So fortunately that didn't happen. No one had to hear me go crazy. That's nothing pretty comes of that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch my order size to 1. I would be willing to add back into this position. I would be willing to take another short here to get back into a 3 contract position. Let me just go back to my homework chart for a second to make sure I'm happy with where our profit targets are. And I would say I am. Okay, so buyers pushing it back up. You'll notice now as we've pushed towards VPOC, we lost divergence. We do have it on the 1597. Now, if I scrunch this up and we look at it from the very opening of the day, in fact, if I go back even further, we'll see it better. You could see how we have positive divergence all the way to here. However, if we're going off of our previous swing low here to here, we've lost positive divergence. Let's see here. We're going to look to add into another contract right now, actually. Okay. And we're going to put a proper target right back where we had it in the first place. Testing what's currently value area low for the day. A little early to start latching on to profile areas for today's profile, but that is what it happened to bump up against here. S&P slowly skewing down. That's nice. You know, that it can't hurt us. It doesn't necessarily help us, but well, that's not true. I guess it can hurt us. There could be for some reason that the oil and S&P trade inversely for a period of time. But like I say, if I'm in a short trade, I want to see everything go down. If I'm in a long trade, I want to see everything go up. I'm an equal opportunity supporter. I want everything and everybody to jump on board. So again, depending on, first of all, if we come and test low a day, which is sitting at yesterday's VPOC, and if we do, how we do it, we looks like we would have very minor, if any, positive divergence here in crude. So let's see if we can't get sellers making another push down. So again, we got touched but not filled. Still actually looks like sellers are willing to come down here. Buyers have defended yesterday's VPOC once. And they're not getting out of the way all that quickly here either. But it does look like sellers are willing to come down and do some trading. So let's see if we can't get another push. Again, ultimately, the idea is the fact that we're trading in yesterday's value area. The idea is that we would ultimately traverse down to the value area low from yesterday. I'm getting a little tired of just getting touched but not filled stuff. Let's see if that wasn't just a chance to build up some energy for the sellers and make a bit of a harder push down here. Really try to see if they can't get these buyers out of the way. We have this former VPOC down here that we're looking to see if will act like a magnet for us, drive us down towards this next profit target. Big bid building up here, which so far today has meant that we're going there. Let's see if we can't trade through this. So we're actually seeing that bid stay. You know, when we come to trade at it, we're actually seeing it stay there. Let's see if we can't start filling. There we go. Got rid of a chunk of it. Turned into a seller now. We got offers there. Let's see if sellers can't get down through this through yesterday's VPOC. Okay, we just got filled there. Very minor positive divergence on the 987. We actually have not yet hit current low of day, so it's even hard to say. So we do not have positive divergence here. Again, here's that big 400. We're going to go touch that. That's what we've seen all day so far. Big bid shows up, we just go get it. Shit, now we have that big offer. And there it is again. Again, counterintuitive. Normally that's exactly what you want to see, but that's just not the way that this works. But only the 610 is showing positive divergence. 987, 1597 are not. At this point, I am going to call this a morning. I'm going to leave my trades where they are. I'm going to move my stop to break even. Break even +1. We have our profit target. We have one profit target here at the magnet of this former VPOC. We then have another at yesterday's value area low. I think what we're going to do, I'm going to leave it like that. I'm going to leave it just like that. And for now, that is going to be it. All right, so I will be wrapping that up. If anything, you guys don't have to get in touch with me. Feel free to ask any questions you want, and I will see you guys tomorrow. All right, bye-bye now.
I'll see you later.